So Selenium is an open source tool which helps in automating the browser. Now Selenium has various components, but the most primary component of Selenium is Selenium WebDriver. Selenium WebDriver will help us to create browser-based regression and functional automation test, normally which automate any type of web application or a website. Now Selenium has its roots back from 2004, and it was originally created as a browser-based plugin, okay, which injected JavaScripts to test the web. However, as the time passed by, other components of Selenium were also made available. For example, Selenium IDE and Selenium Grid. So we'll see these things as well. So, like I said, the primary component of Selenium is Selenium WebDriver. As you can see, this is the official Selenium website, selenium.dev. Now here you can see in the getting started section the three components. So we'll go into the details of these components. The latest release of Selenium as of today, which was made available on November 27, is Selenium 4.27. So we'll be working on latest version of Selenium and writing the programs practically so that you understand various aspects of Selenium. Now, Selenium is a library, right? Like we have already seen in our Python programming practice or even if we use it with Java, we have already seen that we can reuse libraries and modules. Selenium has been written and packaged as a library or as a module for multiple languages. Now, Selenium acts as a client, and there are various language bindings which can be used to automate the web using Selenium. So these are the most popular language bindings that are available to use with Selenium, like .NET or C#, Ruby, Java, Python, and JavaScript. So whatever language binding we use, we have to write our test in the same language. If we are using Java, we'll write our tests in Java. If we are using Python, we'll write our tests or programs in Python. So if you look at the holistic view in deciding which language binding is appropriate for Selenium, so there are languages, primarily distinguished by how they compile the code. So Java and some other languages like C#, they use compiler. They are compiled languages, C# and Java. However, there are some scripting languages like Ruby and Python which do not use compiler. They are interpreted, right? They have an interpreter. Python has an interpreter. So these interpreted languages are mostly more suitable than the compiled languages if you are thinking about complexity perspective of creating test scripts. So if you want less complex test automation frameworks, you can go for scripting in Python and Ruby because they interpret the code more than they compile. However, this is just a syntax. Language is a syntax to explain what we need to computer to our machine, right? It's just a way. So if you create your test automation framework using any language and Selenium, it will more or less produce same outcome. Now, Selenium language bindings are not limited to these 5 languages. You can see here in this hyperlink, there are other language bindings as well. For example, Go, Haskell, JavaScript, etc. Right? So Selenium can be integrated or can be used with these languages as well. Now, if you see the framework section in the Selenium Dev website, framework is a setup, is a loose software. It's not a full software or a full tool. It's a loose tool, we can say, or it's a setup which helps to quickly start our work in a structured manner. Okay. If I want to automate any web application or any website and I have a framework, what I can do is I can quickly start the automation in a structured manner. So we'll see how to create these frameworks. However, using Selenium, certain frameworks are already there. For example, if you see Helium or Nerodia are few frameworks, or Selenium base, right? Or Selenium library. So these are few frameworks which are created by taking Selenium as base. So these are again tools or frameworks which we can leverage, which we can use. Once we learn how Selenium works, what are the basics, how we can access various functions and classes which are already pre-built in Selenium, we can try to use any of these frameworks as well. These frameworks provide extra feature on top of Selenium. Okay, every framework that is listed here, Fluent, Linium, or Water, or WebDriver IO, right? Many frameworks are written in many languages, right? In multiple languages. So these frameworks provide extra functionality on top of whatever is the existing functionality. Okay. Now these are some of the sponsors and development partners of Selenium. Now coming on to one important aspect of browser drivers. Okay. Now browser drivers are something which is again a piece of software only. Okay. However, it is owned by a respective vendor of the browser. For example, Google Chrome driver is owned by Google. Now, Google Chrome driver invests money in creating Google Chrome driver software, okay, because they want Google Chrome to be used in Selenium automation. Okay. Now, very important thing in Selenium is that it mimics the native behavior of the user. Selenium WebDriver will mimic or act as, a real user is using a website. Okay. Because it is based on the JSON wire protocol. Okay. Which ensures that it is working same as how a real user would test the web application. Okay, because testing is should be very close to how a real user will use our application. Okay, whether it is an automated testing or a manual testing. So Selenium makes sure that the user behavior is mimicked properly when we are trying to automate any functionality using Selenium WebDriver. Now to facilitate, okay, so to gain access of the browser, I should say, each browser vendor provides a browser driver to Selenium community, okay, or to Selenium, to Selenium users. For example, we want to use Google Chrome, so we'll have to use Google Chrome driver, which will enable or allow Selenium to access the Chrome browser. Okay, so you can see these are all separate softwares of the respective vendors. Mozilla produces Gecko driver. Okay, they create it, they maintain it. Microsoft produces Edge driver, Google Chrome driver, Apple Safari, and Opera. So these are the major 5 browsers that are there in today's ecosystem, right? So these 5 browser drivers are used to access the browsers using Selenium. Now, if you go onto this release and change log or on releases page, so let's go to, as a sample, let's go to this page. So you'll see that this is getting me redirected to developer.chrome.com. Okay, which means that Selenium is using these Chrome driver, which is developed by Chrome. Okay, which is a Google company. Now, if you see latest version of Chrome, okay, so Chrome version history. So if I see Google Chrome for desktop, okay, so I can see the latest version is around 133. Okay, and the stable version would be, so beta is on 132. Let's see the stable version. Yeah, so Google stable version is 131 right now. Okay, stable version means which is available for common public to use, common people to use, who are using Google Chrome. Okay, so let's assume that this is the version that we want to use, Google 131. But here if you see, after Google 114, there is no update on the Chrome driver. So this is saying if you are using Chrome version 115 or newer, consult this. Okay, because this provides a new way for Chrome version downloading. For lower way, this is the way. Okay, so if I go to this, you will find the latest version for Google Chrome here. Okay, so you can download Chrome driver and Google Chrome both software, okay, both from here. Because in certain cases, let's say you are using Docker or you are using your own VM in your company, then you might find this software is useful. Okay, and this is all available in the Google website only. So every vendor, browser vendor like Google, Microsoft, Apple, Opera, Mozilla, okay, they are creating their own releases. Now I'll go on to the Mozilla website also. So see, this is from the GitHub account of Mozilla company. Okay, so they are also creating the Gecko driver and updating it here. Okay, so if I want Gecko driver, the latest one, I can download it from this website. So the companies are investing amount or money in creating these software because they want that their browser must be used with Selenium, because Selenium is very prominent programming language, right? It's a very important automation tool along with programming language, right? So Selenium is a tool which has to be used along with a programming language and very prominent in testing website and web applications. Okay. If you click on the documentation tab, very important documentation you will find here, okay, which keeps on updating. Okay, now Selenium is not a commercial or a paid software. Okay, it's not a licensed software. It's a free and open source software. Okay, so it can have few bugs, defects. Okay, and there could be certain issues when you are starting to program. Okay, but lot of help is available on the Selenium GitHub area. Okay, on the Selenium GitHub website, which I'll show you when we are doing the live programs. Okay, so this was a short introduction on Selenium. Okay, now we'll see how we can start automation with Selenium. Okay, so I'll go on to the Selenium basics package. I'll create a new script. I'll create a new Python file called as hello world. So like I told you, Selenium is a basic library. Okay, so I'm importing the WebDriver from Selenium. Okay, so from Selenium library, from Selenium module, I'm importing WebDriver component. Okay, now let us try a test case. Okay, or let us try a small script where we'll be doing a Google search. Okay. So okay. So I will use driver instance, okay, or driver object, and I'll call the constructor of the Chrome class. Okay. So this is my first step. Okay. This step will launch the browser, Chrome browser. Okay. So from classes and objects, okay, if you relate this with classes and objects, okay, what we are doing is we are calling the Chrome on the WebDriver instance. Okay. So it says driver is equal to WebDriver dot Chrome. Then next step that we want to do is we want to call a get function, okay, or a get method, okay, because I want to go on to certain website. Okay. So I'll call a get method. So I'll open Chrome browser. I'll go to google.com. Okay. So this is the website I want to go to. So I'll copy the hyperlink and I will paste it here. Okay. Always provide the protocol HTTP or HTTPS along with the URL. Best way is to copy the URL name, URL from the browser and then paste it here. Okay. So this is my URL that I want to go to, which is google.com. Okay. Now, when I run this, a browser will open up and google.com will be launched. Okay. So 2 lines of code I have written only, basically 3 lines. One is the import statement, okay, where I am importing WebDriver from the Selenium library or Selenium module, Selenium package. Second thing, what I'm doing is I'm creating a driver instance, okay, or a driver object from WebDriver.Chrome. This will launch Chrome browser for me. And then I'm calling on the driver now, I'm calling the get method. Okay. What this get method will do? This will open the given website. Okay. Whatever website I give in the parameter, that will open. Okay. So let's try to run this. So see, the website gets open and the browser is getting terminated. Okay. It's getting closed. Okay. So this very simple test that I created. Okay. Now let's expand this test a little further. Okay. So let's say on google.com, I want to do Google search. Okay. This is my test case. So what I have to do, I have to enter some text here. Okay. So I have to enter some text here. So this field I have to enter some text if I want to do the Google search. Okay. So how Selenium works is, okay. So how I am doing this manually. So I am Okay, so how will I do this manually? First is I'm looking for text box where I have to enter the text. Okay, so this is the text box that I have to enter the text. So I have to check this field. First I have to look for this field. Okay, now since we are looking for this field when we are doing manual testing, same way in Selenium we have to also look for this field, which is called as locating the field. So when I'm doing it manually with my eyes, I can see, right, that there is something which I want to enter text. Okay, but to Selenium 2 is a program, right? Doing it with Selenium in Python, Python is a program, it's a script, right? So we have to tell it exactly where to enter the text. Okay, we have to tell it in a unique way in this web element where to enter text. Okay, we can't expect script to automatically guess and enter text anywhere. Okay, because right now we have one field here in this one text box in this page, but there can be multiple text boxes. Consider login page, right? So there is username, there is password, right? So we have to exactly tell the Selenium script, our script, which we are writing in Python. Okay, we have to exactly tell where to enter the data. Okay, now if you closely look at this web page or this website, it is nothing but a collection of web elements. Okay, now to explore the web elements which are available, there are developer tools in all the browsers. Okay, so this field is nothing but a web element, right? Because it is on the website. Now to explore all elements, on the given page, we have developer tools in all browsers. Okay, so here also we have developer tools. So to open those tools, the shortcut is F12. Okay, or you can right click and you can click on inspect. Okay, if you want to go from here, there is more tools and developer tools. Okay, so there are 2-3 ways to open developer tools. Either you can open from Chrome options, from Chrome settings from here, right, top right, 3 dots, more tools and developer tools. Okay, or you can right click and click on inspect here, or you can press F12 key on your keyboard if you are using Windows. Okay, so this is how the developer tools look like. Okay, so on the right hand side you can see a separate tool is getting opened up. Okay, which contains HTML code of this entire website in the elements tab. Okay, so in the developer tool there are multiple tabs here: console, source, network, performance, memory, application, security, lighthouse, recorder, and performance insights, right? So these are multiple tools, tabs, which are available on developer tool. Okay, at the bottom if you see there is a console, what's new, and AI assistance. Okay, so there is a console primarily here. Okay, which will show us output. Okay, but primarily first we have to learn about elements tab only. Okay, so this elements tab will give us the HTML structure of the entire web page, which is on my left hand side. Okay, now this web page has multiple elements. Okay, so what are various elements that we can see on this web page? So this is Google image. Okay, so it's saying copy image, that means this is an image, correct? There are hyperlinks here at the top. Gmail is a hyperlink, images is a hyperlink, correct? There is this icon, correct? There is this text box, couple of buttons, Google search button, I am feeling lucky button. Okay, again few hyperlinks, Okay, this is a label Google offered in. This much part is a label. Okay, so what is a label? Something which is printed on the web page is simply a label. Okay, so this is a label for language description. There are few icons for voice and for image. Okay, there is this cross clear button, small icon. Okay, so there are a lot of web elements which are available in the this web page. Okay, this is about, there is store, these two are hyperlinks. So there are hyperlinks, images, labels, text box, buttons, icons, all those things are available in the web page. Okay, so there can be check boxes, there can be lists, there can be radio buttons. Okay, lot of type of variety of web elements can be present on a given web page. So it's a collection of web elements basically, right? So this page has multiple web elements and they are described by the HTML. Okay, now this HTML works on document object model. We call it as DOM, HTML DOM. Okay, DOM, document, because it works on the document object model, right? But the important thing is how to identify this field on the page, how to locate, how Selenium does it, that we have to understand and that we have to learn. Okay, so we'll open the developer tools by clicking on the inspect. As soon as we inspect, there is a text area which is getting highlighted. See, if I'm hovering it, it is selecting the text area. Okay, now let's say if I want to see how this Google search button is there in my HTML DOM, I can right click, I can say inspect. Okay, so see, this is the Google search button code. Okay, if I want to see how is I am feeling lucky button, so this is my I am feeling lucky button. Okay, so let's focus on the text area only. Okay, because here I want to enter the data. Okay, so this is my text area which is getting selected. You can see in the developer tools here on the right hand side, things are getting selected. Okay, let me copy this into okay. So since this is one element, it is not getting, but I'll explain you what. So this is the element where we have to enter our text. Okay, so we have identified the element where we have to enter our text. Okay, on the DOM. Okay, so we identified the element. Okay, now let's dig a little deeper into the element. Okay, let us see what this element contains. Okay, so this is nothing but an XML HTML tag. Okay, and the name of the tag is text area, right? So anything in HTML that it starts with the angular bracket is called as a HTML tag. Okay, so if you see our example, there are a lot of HTML tags. There is a div tag, style tag, div tag, style. Okay, then there is input, correct? So you can see there are these two are input tags, center tag, right? So all these are called as Selenium tags. There is one more text area here at the bottom, right? Text area tag. Now, the thing that we are talking about right now is the text area tag. Okay. So this text area tag has various things in it. First thing is tag name. So the name of the tag is text area. And there are attributes associated with this tags. Okay, so it has lot of attributes which are associated here. Okay, so one of the attribute is this class. Okay, so wherever we have a equal to sign, that means we have an attribute there. Okay, so class is an attribute which has a value of which has value as this. Okay, so there are attributes here. So this is one attribute class. There is one more attribute called as area control. Area owns, autofocus, title, value, JS action, ARIA label, placeholder, autocomplete. Okay, so all these are attribute names and attribute values associated with the text area tag. Okay, you can see how many are there, right? There are many. Okay, so there are 24 attributes here. Okay, so there are total of 24 attributes. Okay, now this is HTML technology, right? We don't want to focus more on HTML technology, right? But we just have to understand whatever is useful to us. Okay, so what we have to understand that HTML is a collection of multiple tags, right? And all those tags have various attributes in them. Attribute will have a name and a value. So attribute name class, value this. Attribute name title, value search. Attribute name max length 2048. Attribute name attribute value q. Okay, so these are certain attribute names and value examples that I've given you. So these are all available in the DOM for every web element. Okay, now I have talked about text area, but if you see about input or any other thing also, you will see tag name here. Okay, let's see one more example. So here tag name is input and there are attributes. Okay, so again there are attribute like, for example, value. The value is Google search. So this is one of the attributes. That value is the attribute name and value is Google search. Okay, so this is the way how we can decode the tag name and attributes. Okay, so there is one more thing here, but I'll cover that later. But for this, for now, we have to understand there are two things: attribute name and tag name and attributes. Okay, so now we have identified the element where we have to enter the text. We have identified tag name and various attributes. Okay, so we have identified the tag name also, and we have identified what all attributes are available corresponding to that tag. Okay, these things we have identified for that particular web element where we have to enter our text. Okay, so we have to enter our text now, correct? Enter our text in the text box, in this text box. Okay, now Selenium provides a way to do this. Okay, for example, I can find the element by calling the find element method. Okay, so see here, I told you that we need to locate the element. Locate. locating or finding. Okay, so I want to find the element or I want to locate the element. For that, there is a find element method, okay, which is ready made. We don't have to do anything. Okay, and there are various versions. Okay, so if you see here, for find element function, okay, what do we need? We need three parameters: self, by, and value. Okay, so there are three parameters that we need to have. Okay, now if I go on to the documentation, okay, so see, this is the documentation. Okay, so I'll copy this find element documentation in my code. Okay, so here I have to provide three things. Okay, in here I can see I have to provide three things: self, by, and value. Okay, so self is implicit. Okay, so we saw that whenever we create a method, we are using self. Okay, but here let's skip it. Okay, let's put only two things: by and value. Okay, so I can say by name. Okay, so I have to provide that which attribute I am going to use. So I am going to use a strategy of name here. Okay, so I'll say by name. Okay, and everything will be needs to be imported. And apart from by, I'll have to provide the value, that by what name. Okay, so I'll go to my web element. I can see the name here is Q. Name of the element that I want to find is Q. So I'll provide the value as Q. Okay, so I have identified the element, I have located the element. Now I'll save this element in the search element object. Okay, search element instance, because I want to use this element later. So now I can use this element and I can do send keys. Okay, send keys means whatever text, whatever item, whatever string I want to paste in that text box. Okay, and then I'll call the submit method. Submit method is the enter key. Okay, because what I can do here is I can go ahead, I can enter the text here and press the enter key, so my search results will come up. Okay, so now my search results are coming up. Okay, so same test I am going to try here. So I'll do the submit key. Okay, now whether I am on the correct page or not, I can use various methods which are available in driver. Okay, so I can get the title of the web page by calling the title method. Okay, because if the title of the web page changes, I will be understanding that I am on another page, I am on the search page. So I'll say run. So you'll see that Selenium opens up, it enters the string. Okay, presses the enter key and close itself, and it prints the title here on the console, so that I can know that my search string was tested. Okay. If you want to know what the title is, I can show you manually. So see, this is the title at the top. Okay. If you want to see the title in DOM, it is also available in DOM most of the times. Okay. If you control F for title, see, this is the title here. Test string is this and that. Okay. Same thing we have extracted and getting print here. Okay. So this is how we have to write Selenium script step by step. Okay. First, we have to open the browser, navigate to the web page, find the element where we want to perform the action. Okay. So here we want to perform the action. Okay. Identify the locator, identify the web elements locator that I want to act upon. So my web element was text area or the search string text box on the Google homepage. I identified it by the name attribute. So by name, okay, means by name attribute. And the value that I am asking Selenium or Python interpreter to look onto the web page is Q. So Python will look for element with name is equal to Q. Okay. See this, name is equal to Q. Okay. I can use any attribute. Okay. But there is a way to use these attributes. Okay. All attributes cannot be used by this way, which I am using here. Okay. Only few attributes are available. Okay. Then I'm doing a send keys. Send keys means typing. So I'm typing these things on my element, which I have identified. Okay. So this is located element. And then I'm clicking the enter button by calling the submit method on the element. Okay. And then I'm printing the title of the resulting web page. So my driver is my web page. Okay. The entire web page handle, the instance of the entire web page. So my title of the entire web page after the Google search is done is this. So that is getting printed. Okay. I can add assertions. Assertions means compare actual and expected results, right? So I will show you how to add that as well. Because in testing, we have to compare actual and expectation every time. Okay. So this is our simple script. Okay. Now we'll extend this script. We'll learn more about it. Maybe there are some questions that you might have. Okay.